my channel. And today is the day that I finally get to do my hair again. And as you can see, I'm on a beautiful beach. It's a lovely day in the upper 60s. Just a little bit too much breeze. And I'm using two colors today. I'm using the Punky Colors Plum, and I'm using the Color Charm, Wella Color Charm Fuchsia. So, without further ado, here I start. And just going to use my rubber gloves that came from some doctor's office. And the only mirror I'm going to use is the tablet. So let's hope that it does a real good job. And you probably already know this tablet is bound to shut off randomly at any time. So I really need to do this quicker as opposed to not quick. Now, interesting day it's been today. There's police on one of the entrances of my apartment building as I was leaving. And then I had to wait a few minutes to start this because even though I had another spot lined up and I had all my stuff spread out, some other people decided to have a photo shoot for either a marriage or a quinceañera, if that's how you pronounce it. A girl, you should have seen her dress. It was pale pink. It was really big and poofy and all that stuff. And you know, I'm all for celebrations and whatever makes people happy. But when they could see that I was setting up and I was trying to film, this is a big, huge, wide beach. They could have used any part of this beach, and they just had to use where I was at. And, you know, they aren't as sensitive to the sun as I am. They didn't have to be there, and I had to wait for them. And I wasn't too happy about that. You know what? I can't even see what the hell I'm doing. So, yeah, I hope I don't spill this dye. That would really suck. I have 2 jars of the Manic Panic Plum, and I have one of the Wella. And I'm going to do the very best that I can. And, of course, you're not going to get to see the finished product in this video because I'm going to have to soak it in for a long period of time. Please shut up! Hey, if a dog comes here and bites me, it'll be great on camera. I gotta look at it. You know, I always want to show something interesting. The whole point of being on YouTube, if something isn't interesting, people aren't going to want to watch. And, you know, if I'm boring you, I'm not doing the right thing. So I don't want to ever be boring. Life's too short to be bored. And you want to watch something that's fun. So, I would have preferred to use whiter gloves because they show dye better, and it just kind of can be misleading. You don't realize maybe if you have wet dye on your gloves when they're colored, whereas if they're lighter gloves, then you can tell. It can prevent you from, for instance, touching wet gloved hand on your electronics and staining them or whatever. I used to always stain telephones when I was dyeing my hair and stuff. Another good reason to have telephones maybe dark. But, of course, I'm talking about landline phones, and most of the phones I'm referring to are of the rotary dial variety. For all I know, some of you guys were never even alive to experience rotary dial phones, so I'm probably dating myself. Oh well. This is such a beautiful day. After I have most of the color in, if this camera is not shut off, I'll show you just how lovely it is. And it's nice that I have some part of this beach for myself. Boy, my neighborhood has been awfully lively lately, but then when is it not? It's pretty safe to assume that any car parked near my apartment is people selling heroin and crack and all that stuff. And the thing is, the police should know by now what's going on, and they do not, even when there's downright suspicious activity, they don't do anything about it. When you call them, they never come. You know, and I think it's because of civil rights that crackheads and thug life is protected class, apparently. I think maybe the cops are on the take around here. Well, how else can you explain it? Ever since I called 911 because that woman was being terrorized and being kidnapped, literally forced into a car and stuff, and the cops never came, and I never understood that. I would think something like that's important. You know, I mean, if somebody did something terrible to me, I would want somebody to call and help me out, especially since I don't have a cell phone. I wouldn't even be able to rescue myself. You know. See what I'm doing? One thing about this thick dye, it's good that it doesn't run because it goes on like a paste. But on the other hand, you seem to need so much more to soak the dye in. But you know what? As beautiful a day as it is today, at least there's not a lot of people on the beach. The more people there is, then I would have people asking questions. Sometimes if they know you're filming, then they deliberately get in the frame. And I don't mind the happy people that wave hi mom and stuff like that. That's kind of cool. Of course, not having a model release, you've got these people on camera. But if they're obviously interjecting themselves into your narrative, then I guess that implies consent. So, oh, I'm getting dye on my coat, but the coat's black, so. Okay, here's some of this fuchsia, and I want to definitely get some of that near my hairline. Of course, it'd be nice not to stain the skin, but you know what? These are all things that happen. I didn't think to bring clips to clip things out of the way. But you know what? Most of the clips I have, they kind of they're rough around the edges, and they actually get tangled in my hair and they break hair off, so. I don't grow my hair to break it shorter, obviously. I'm going to try for a similar piece to frame my hair over on this side. I'll grab some of this. I thought it was supposed to be in the lower mid 70s today. But there's enough of a breeze that it really doesn't feel all that warm. And of course I'm taking chances with my skin in the UV rays, so I'm wearing a 3/4 length sleeve. This is actually an Indian outfit. I don't know exactly what it's called. Maybe it's a lehenga or something. It's this tunic that opens up right here. It's not technically a dress. You're supposed to wear long pants underneath it if you actually wore it the way it was intended. But I was just looking for something that was dark enough that the dye wouldn't stain it. And since I knew that I was doing it on camera, I wanted something that preferably I hadn't worn before and that looked cool. So I just literally washed it 2 days ago, and I saw that it was dry. When it's not cold enough for the heat to go on, that means the radiators don't get caught, so my laundry takes longer to dry because I wash it all by hand. Okay. Alright. Oh boy. Sorry, I'm snotting all over the place. I should have taken a Sudafed pill today. I didn't realize that my sinuses were going to back up. You know, nobody in my neighborhood knows about that I bleached my roots, and I had, because I always put my hair up in these knit beanies. I'm totally in hiding from the gangs and stuff. You know. And occasionally when somebody does see me, they say, "Oh, I haven't seen you in a long time." It's like, I'm in hiding. So I don't want to be seen. They don't see me. You know? Oh, today, the day I'm filming this is it's Friday, and today is Earth Day. So, and they always have events at the recycling center, but that is somewhere in the mainland that I don't even know if a bus gets to. So, but I've been recycling all my adult life. So, in California, you know, you actually get paid per pound for your cans and your plastic and your glass bottles and stuff. And I would go to where the drinking alleys are, and I would get a laundry cart like the one that I have here, and I would collect the cans and the bottles. I hope I didn't just make my face purple. But sometimes I would save up my personal recycling for like a month. I'd still only get between $7 and $10. I never made a lot of it, but it's something, you know. And it's weird that not all municipalities do recycling. Some of my mother's friends live in towns where their whole county, they don't recycle, and I don't understand why that is so. Why every place doesn't have recycling? It's just something as basic as that. It takes what would otherwise be trash from our landfills. It's good for the environment. It should be something that everybody should do just because it's the right thing to do. Now, I'm not one of these environmental Nazis or anything, but I do believe in not littering, and I do believe in if you can recycle things, you should. You know, I think it's just part of being a good world citizen. Now, if I get home and I find out that there's spots I missed, then I'm obviously going to do that. Because what I'm going to ultimately do is, when I think that I'm all covered, I'm going to put my hair in a plastic bag that I brought with me. And I'm going to put it in that plastic bag like I normally do to time it, to set my dye in. Then I'm going to put that black beanie on my bagged head. I'm going to put my long black leather trench coat back on. And I'm going to go home and use whatever entrance has less bad people hanging around. It's going to feel good to have my dye back in. Who knows, since I'm doing this early enough, I might not have to sleep in it and get up early and wash this out. What I'd like to do is actually get in the shower and wash this out before I go to bed. That way I'll know that I got a good shower in, because right now, this week, one of the people I live with was on vacation of some kind, and those are the times when I have to take advantage of using their bathroom, because they have a better bathroom with all the facilities in it and stuff. Otherwise, quite frankly, I feel too intimidated to even use it like a normal human being. You know. I don't know if you can I think it's a Coast Guard helicopter. We've got an air base about maybe 30 miles away, and occasionally we get patrolled. Sometimes we even see fighter jets and things, and that's quite exciting. I like the idea that our skies are being monitored to keep us safe, especially considering what's going on in Ukraine. I still wish I had a whole lot of money, a whole lot of millions of dollars that I could just give them so they could get their MiGs and their Stingers and all the things that they need. You know, the nice thing about having a lot of money isn't so much the things you can get for yourself, even though sure, why not? Especially if the tax man's going to get it anyway. But if you could do some real good with what you have, you know, you can't take it with you. I think it must be give you an extreme feeling of satisfaction to know that you're helping people. And right now, who needs it more than the suffering Ukrainian people? What's going on with Putin and his war is destroying them, which is so disgusting. And I'm sure I'm just one of many millions of people that wish that they could do something to help. I know that there's some non-governmental organizations and there's aid organizations and things. Some of them are faith-based organizations that, how do you know if money isn't getting funneled to other things? Especially if they're led by rich preachers, you know. But if you send it directly to the Ukrainian government, there's this organization, I think I mentioned it before. It says, "Come here now," I think is the website, and you can donate money right to the Ukrainian military. And if any of my day jobs actually pay me anything, even remotely worth noting, I really want to donate to them, because all the sympathy is not doing them any good. Anybody can think a happy thought for somebody, and I don't know what good that does, but money is something that they definitely need. See, I have a kerchief at my neckline because otherwise I have all that skin exposed, and it's not just that I don't want it to get stained, it's that I don't want the sun to hit it, because I have scar tissue there from sun poisoning that I got from the time I was 2 years old. And sun poisoning, any blistering sunburn doubles your chance of skin cancer each time you get it, and the more times you get bad sunburn before age 18, the more dangerous it is for you later in life. And now, especially since my father had 8 skin cancers cut off of him before he died, that means it's in my family tree also. And so the sun is really no joke, and that's why I avoid it so much. Oh, by the way, if anybody thought that I looked, anybody thinks that my skin looked dark in the video that I just did, it was just bad lighting. I assure you, I don't tan. I never tan. I would never want to tan. You know, I don't think people should change their skin color. I mean, you should be proud of who you are. What this obsession of pale-skinned people is with tanning, I will never understand. I mean, I think that they should make more availability of skin bleaching creams and things, so that if you have freckles and things, you can get rid of them faster. I use vitamin C after I use my retinol, and I haven't seen an improvement yet. But you know what, speaking of retinol, there is a sale going on right now for a company called Reliable RX, and that's an online pharmacy from India that you can actually get things without a prescription. You can get prescription things. And I, for years, have been wanting to buy Retin A, which is what retinol is, but stronger. It's a vitamin, it's a form of vitamin A that's prescription strength. And if you really want to work on your skin, that is the gold standard. And since I've already had burns and peeling from retinol in the past. I've already gone through it. So I really want to buy a bunch of that good stuff because I really want to get good skin. You know. Oh, and I hope to, since I'm dyeing my hair again, I hope to be getting my ID soon. It kind of sucks to be without it. Even though why people would card a person that obviously is not a kid is ridiculous. So many people that are carding people, it's just a power trip. You know, people, I think, some of them enjoy having a sense of power and saying who does and does not get in. When you know that somebody is over 21, but they're looking for an excuse not to let them in someplace. And that's just a power trip. That's all it is. Put another streak in this. I'm sorry I didn't get another one of these tubes. I really wish the brighter purple color from this company was not sold out the day that I went and got all this. That was such a, I don't want to say it was a hassle going down there, but when my foot started hurting on the way back, that really sucked. And I'm sorry, I'm not about to fork over bus fare that would be the equivalent of a third of a jar of hair dye. You know, I'm not in a position where I can throw my money away. I'm in the kind of position where all the things that I can get free, frankly, I do get free, because otherwise I would go without a lot of things that most people just don't go without. I don't know what this all looks like from the back here. One thing that helps when you're dyeing your hair, the scalp can feel, you can feel when it's dry, and when you put something wet on your scalp, you can feel it, so that's a way to tell that you're covering the hair. And this kind of dye, it's safe to rub into the scalp in a way that you should never do when you're applying bleach. I'm only using these two different colors in my hair, so I don't have to worry about all the colors mixing into each other. I really do recommend this Punky Color brand. I know that it lasts a longer time than some dyes. You know, cheaper is not always better, but the thing is, the Manic Panic dye, which is a good bit more expensive than Punky Colors, that's really good too, but it's a lot more expensive. And they have other dyes like Fudge, lots of brands that are even more expensive. And my God, you know, I guess if you can afford to throw your money around, go for it. But and so far, I have not found a permanent color that really is bright and vivid. And there are some companies like Feria that make permanent purples, but for some reason they don't sell them where I can easily get to them. And then there are those places where you have to have a cosmetologist license to make purchases. And I went to beauty school, but I don't have a license. So, you know, without a license, you can't talk your way in. So, you know, I mean, I would have to go to school all over again at today's cost. And I don't kind of feel like spending that kind of money, you know? And then if you actually did and you opened up a shop and everything, then you have to have insurance, all this legal liability, because if you leave something on a customer too long and they have a reaction, Or if they don't tell you that they had, say, products that had metal in their hair, and then you apply a bleach in your hair, and then of course bleach and metal do not mix. And the fault is technically with them because they didn't tell you the truth, but still they can try to go and sue you, and it just seems like a real big hassle. Like whenever you get other people involved, there's drama and there's hassle, and that's part of the reason why I do so much by myself, because there's less hassle. Oh, I hope I'm not getting purple all over my face. Get to be looking like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer or something. Okay. Now, if I see any lighter spots, I think I'm going to throw some of this in. See, I can't tell what's light, what's bleached. I have a sneaking feeling I'm going to have to add more to this when I have access to more mirrors and things at the house. You guys can see better than I can. Now, I thought that Manic Plum, Cookie Color's Plum, it seemed to me that it was a little bit darker and a little tiny bit bluer than this. Yeah. That's why sometimes I would get Plum and then I would get Punky Color's Purple. Take a look at this mirror here. You know, another thing I would do if I had a really obscene amount of money, I get so many notices about people who have cats that have catastrophic medical conditions, and they make appeals for help for their medical bills and stuff, and I just wish I could do something to help them. You know, there's also a site you may have heard of called Cuddly, CUDDLY.com, and that's helps people to afford their medical care. It's so sad so many people end up surrendering their animals to the shelter because they can't pay for the medical bills. And so what ends up happening is they give the animals medical treatment, but then the animals get homed by somebody else, and to give up a pet that you're supposed to love just because you can't afford to treat their medical thing, that's just so sad, you know? And nobody thinks about how the animal feels. That why do these people that said they love me give me away? I thought love was supposed to be forever, and I can understand love not working out between human beings, but an animal, that maybe you've had since they were a baby, and all of a sudden you give them away, you drop them off to some strange place where they hear all these obnoxious sounds, dogs barking and all that stuff. Empty jar. I've got this makeup mirror down here so that I can look somewhat. Oh boy. I hope I don't have nose. Okay, time to open up another jar. Should have done that one. So, and I have a trash bag here. I am not littering. Litter is something that really gets my goat. There are people, even people I know, that think nothing of throwing empty beer bottles or cigarette wrappers or whatever on the beach when you're on the boardwalk, and it makes me so angry. And I'm never silent about it. I always tell them that it's very rude and disrespectful and bad for the environment, and if any kids are around, it sets a bad example. And these aren't even necessarily drinking people that do that. There's just a lot of people that don't care. And then all the people that leave their engines running in their cars and they're idling and stuff. And now with the price of gas, it's another reason not to do it. But normally seaside areas have better air quality because you're right at the ocean and there's air movement and stuff. But around here, the air has not gotten better through the years. And then of course when you have tour buses coming in, they used to idle until they made it a law. I think after 5 minutes you're supposed to cut your engines. But they don't enforce it on city streets, and some people just sit for hours and hours in their cars running their engines, and they smoke crack and they do whatever. And, you know, there's just a whole lot of people that do not care. Okay, now this is looking kind of brighter than I wanted. I wasn't going for pink hair. I was going for purple hair. Maybe at my house I may have something that's a little bit darker. This looks more fuchsia than it does purple. And the label on this looks purple. You know, but at least it doesn't look blue. But now one of the things I do have in the house, I have a color that's between teal and blue, and I also have a yellow, so if I wanted to, I can wear heavy cream colored hair. But I've had consistently purple hair since my teens, with very few exceptions, so I'm not looking for an image overall. Okay, I don't know if this is blonde or if this is, I'll add a little bit more here, but I'm going to guess that I'm pretty well covered. So, what do you guys think? Okay. Alright, now I'm going to show you some of, this is the mighty Atlantic Ocean here. And then this is it used to be, well, for a while there, this was Ocean One Mall, then it became the Pier at Caesars, and then it became called, I think, the Playground. Here's some of our skyline, and here's the, what was the Atlantic City Convention Hall, now it's called Boardwalk Hall. And then down there is Tropicana, and there's some fancy high-rise condos, and then down beach, Ventnor, Margate, and Longport, and all that stuff. And in back our mighty Atlantic Ocean. Okay, if you like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you like me and my content, I'd love to have you subscribe. If you do, ring the bell so it looks like it's ringing, and that way you won't miss anything I post. Then the next video you see from me, my hair will be done and I will be back to my normal glorious purple self. Take care, enjoy yourself, please stay safe. COVID is still going on there, and support Ukraine. They need us now more than ever. Bye.